chapter 8. Our chapter 8 here is on English syntax. Basically, we also need to actually understand what syntax is in English. So throughout the whole chapter 8, everyone will be looking at the English syntax, covering the sentence structure, okay? And you will be looking at the different kind of sentences as well. So let's just have a look at the first one. Okay, the structure of sentence. Syntax is the study of sentence structure. And because there is so little structures of English word, a syntactic analysis forms the dominant elements in a modern English grammar. So as everyone learned some of this already, basically syntax here refer to the study of sentence structure, okay? And because there is so little structure in English language, and then we generally use syntactic analysis, syntactic forms, or syntactic structures to help us identify the important elements forming a sentence in English language. You get what I mean? Everyone?
Yeah, teacher.
Okay, as I mentioned already, it might be a little bit hard for us, a little bit hard for us to do that, since sometimes I need to draw something here on the whiteboard as well. So that's why I said it's complicated. But as I mentioned already, syntax basically focus on the study of sentence structure, okay? Since English does not have a lot of syntactic forms or syntactic structure, we use syntactic analysis to help us identify the important elements of the English sentence. So here, you probably look at the sentence, okay? Sentence. Usually, we all know that the sentence is formed, okay? The sentence is formed by what you say are combinations of words, putting words together, okay? So you got subject, okay? Subject plus verb plus complement. All right, so in that case, you probably need to now, this is something you learn in your writing skill subject, I believe. So you got subject plus verb plus complement, forming a complete sentence. But in doing the syntactic structure, we can start now doing more analysis of the forms of the elements, the important elements forming sentence in English. So you probably have the subject, which could be identified as what we call noun phrase plus verb phrase, okay? Plus verb phrase, probably plus noun phrase, probably plus prepositional phrase, things like that. So you may have the sentence like the student are learning English in the class, for example. Okay, you may have this syntactic drawing that kinds of syntactic structure. So you may have things like here. So you may have something like this. You may divide this into a noun phrase, and the whole thing here is a verb phrase. So you can now start drawing sentence, and then you probably divide into noun phrase. Okay. And verb phrase. You see this, everyone? You see the one I'm drawing?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so you may draw it like this. And then here, if you look at this one here, this is the whole thing is noun phrase. The whole thing is called verb phrase. But if you just look at this noun phrase, it should be a combination of determiner, okay, determiner, the, and noun, student. Okay, student. Verb phrase here, you got the combinations of verb here. Okay, verb are learning, okay, the whole thing here. And from this one, we have another noun phrase. So we can say noun phrase. Noun phrase, you have noun plus prepositional phrase. So you have noun and you have PP. Okay. You got it? So you have the noun here, English, the prepositional phrase. The prepositional phrase here is the form. If you look at this one, the whole thing here is called prepositional phrase. So the prepositional phrase is a combination of preposition P and the whole thing here. This is noun phrase. You have preposition, you have a determiner and noun class. Doing so, you know, doing these kinds of syntactic structure or syntactic analysis help us to understand the important elements forming a good sentence in English. Okay, so let's just now go back to our point. As you can see here, syntax is the study of sentence structure, and because there is so little structures of English words, a syntactic analysis forms the dominant elements in a modern English grammar. As I mentioned already, since we have so little structures of English words, that is the reason why we use syntactic analysis. We use syntactic trees or syntactic structure to help us identify the important elements forming the one complete sentence, the important elements forming one complete sentence, the one which expresses a complete meaning. So in that case, you will see one single sentence is formed from other important elements. Okay, you got noun phrase, you got verb phrase, but you also need to understand the noun phrase should be a combination of noun together with other related modifier, and the verb phrase is also a combination of verb together with the complement and also other modifier. Drawing the syntactic structure there, drawing the syntactic tree can help us to understand smaller elements forming a good sentence. You get my point, everyone?
Again,
Yeah,
again,
teacher.
teacher.
I mean, since we have so little structures of English word, we use syntactic structure. We use syntactic tree. The one I drew at the moment, you know? The one I drew at the moment here is called syntactic tree. You get it? Yeah?
Yeah, teacher.
So we use this syntactic tree to help us identify smaller elements, important elements, forming a good sentence in English. You got it? Yes.
Yeah, teacher.
Okay, let's see here. Sentence. Since we know that syntax is the study of sentence structure, now let's look at sentence. Sentence is probably the most familiar of all grammatical terms. Those who learn the traditional grammar will remember the old definition of a sentence as a complete expression of a single thought. This is how we define the sentence in a traditional English grammar. Here, if you look at this one, as the definition suggested in a traditional English grammar, sentence was defined as a complete expressions of a single thought, which seem to be, you know, a little bit different from grammarians today define what the sentence is. Okay, so in the past, sentence is defined as a complete expression of a single thought, but that is not showing the real use of the sentence in English language today. Now, if you define what a sentence is, you probably say a sentence is a group of words which contain a subject and a verb, and which expresses a complete meaning. That is how you define the sentence nowadays. So the definition now seem to be a little bit different from the definition found or given in the past. Why? This seem to be a little bit vague. Why? Because if you look at the real use of English language, and by referring back to the definition given in the traditional English grammar, it seems like it does not show any real use of the English grammar in this present time. Okay, this notional approach is too vague that it produces problems more than anything else. Why? Because of the following reasons. There are many sentences which seem to express single thought, but which are not complete by traditional standards. All right, so if you look back at the definition given in the traditional English grammar, we say a sentence is a complete expression of a single thought. But sometimes here, if you look at this one, lovely, this is not a complete expression, right? Is it complete, everyone? Is this one complete? Lovely here, complete? Everyone?
No.
Yeah, it is not complete. That's the reason why we say the definition given in a traditional English grammar seem to be vague, saying a complete expression of a single thought. But if you look at this one, lovely, taxi, tennis, it is not a complete expression, right? But it also expresses a single thought here. You understand when I say, oh, lovely? You understand the meaning? Giờ mơ vơ bị lovely,
Yes, teacher.
lovely nếu we express we complete thought, we complete expression đó. Bên lên nhá, miền sắp chỉ miền vợ bị thầm thảo át.
No.
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 Còn tại đọc bây giờ vậy thà lovely, bây giờ đáp vô lẽ lovely. taxi tennis ចឹងគេចង់បង្ហាញថានិយមន័យដែលគេឲ្យកាលពីសម័យមុនគេថា sentence គឺជា complete expression សំនួនវោហារស័ព្ទមួយដែលពេញលេញជាក់លាក់ហើយមានអត្ថន័យតែសម័យឥឡូវនេះបើយើងនិយាយពី language use real language use វាមិនមែនជាការឆ្លើយតបទៅនឹងនិយមន័យដែលមាននៅក្នុងសម័យបុរាណទេយើងគ្រាន់តែប្រើពាក្យថា lovely វាមិនមែនជា complete expression ប៉ុន្តែក៏វាមានអត្ថន័យនៅក្នុងដែរឧទាហរណ៍យើងនិយាយថាwater តាមមួយម៉ាត់ចឹងណាប៉ុន្តែវាក៏មានន័យស្ដាប់បានដែរចឹងហើយបានគេចង់និយាយថានិយមន័យពីអតីតកាលវាអត់បានឆ្លុះបញ្ចាំងអំពីការប្រើប្រាស់ជាក់ស្ដែងនាពេលបច្ចុប្បន្នទេចឹងហើយបានជាយើងនិយាយថានិយមន័យនៅក្នុង academic writing a sentence is a group of words that contain a subject and a verb and expresses a complete thought អាហ្នឹងក៏វាមិនបានបង្ហាញអំពីការប្រើប្រាស់ជាក់ស្ដែងដែរចាអានេះវិញមើលនេះនិយាយតាមមួយម៉ាត់ណា water taxi tennis coffee water beer for example there are also sentences which are complete but express more than one thought here if you look at this one is the sentence complete everyone look at this one Ben wants a bike a computer game and a visit to the theme park is this a complete expression yeah is this sentence complete យើងមើលប្រយោគនេះមើលវាមានអត្ថន័យពេញលេញអត់វាមានធាតុវាគ្រប់គ្រាន់អត់វិញយើង Hello
Yes, teacher.
Yeah, teacher.
ចង់និយាយគ្រូសួរថាយើងមើលយើងអានប្រយោគនេះមើលណាតើវា complete អត់ប្រយោគនេះ Ben wants a bike a computer game and a visit to the theme park ណា complete អត់គ្រូសួរ
Complete.
ប៉ុន្តែតាមនិយមន័យបុរាណគេនិយាយថា sentence is a complete expression of a single thought យើងមើលនៅក្នុងប្រយោគ complete មួយនេះវា express thought ប្រមាណ express meaning ប្រមាណអានេះ meaning ទី1 Ben ត្រូវការកង់ meaning ទី2គឺត្រូវការ computer game ហើយ meaning មួយទៀតនោះគឺ a visit to the theme park អញ្ចឹងនៅក្នុង sentence នេះវាជា complete expression ប៉ុន្តែវាមិនមែន express one thought ណាយើងមើលវា express បាន3 thought នោះមិនអញ្ចឹងយល់ទេ
Yeah, teacher.
បាទអញ្ចឹងនិយមន័យដែលគេឲ្យនៅសម័យបុរាណថា sentence គឺជា complete expression of a single thought ហ្នឹងវាអត់ត្រូវទេព្រោះជាក់ស្ដែងប្រយោគខ្លះដែលយើងប្រើនៅពេលបច្ចុប្បន្ននេះវាមិនមែនជាប្រយោគ complete ទេប៉ុន្តែវាអាច express single thought ប្រយោគខ្លះទៀតវា complete វាគឺជា complete expression ប៉ុន្តែវាមិនមែន express one thought ទេ express ច្រើនណាយើងមើលនេះ a bike ផង a computer game ផង and a visit to the theme park you get it right
Yes.
okay let's just move to another one the formal approach to English grammar by contrast try to avoid these kinds of difficulty by describing the ways in which sentences are constructed the patterns of words they contain so in that case in order to avoid confusion on how the sentence was defined in the past, now if you just look at the formal approach to the English grammar, try to actually avoid this kinds of problem by telling you exactly the way the sentence is constructed in English language by following patterns of words. Okay, so you may have one proper subject, you may have one proper verb, the subject agrees with the verb, and the sentence must also express a complete thoughts as well. 3 general points apply to any English sentence. So whenever you write, you will have to make sure that your sentence is grammatical. That is constructed according to the system of rules known by all adult mother tongue speakers and summarized in a grammar. Meaning, this is just a message for us as well. When you are writing a sentence in English, you have to make sure that your sentence is grammatical. The second one, sentences are the largest construction to which the rules of grammar apply. Remember, there is no one way to write sentence in English. There are so many different ways to write sentence in English language. That is the reason why we say sentences are the largest construction. There are many possible ways you can use in order to write sentence. One way, you probably write your sentence forming as a simple sentence. You may write it as a compound sentence. You may write it as a complex sentence or probably compound complex sentence. Okay, so that's the reason why we say sentences are the largest construction. The third one, sentences are constructions which can be used on their own. Units of meaning, unit of meanings which seem to make sense by themselves. So the one which is considered as a sentence should be the one which can be alone on their own and expresses a complete meaning, or the one which make sense. In that case, we also tend to be looking at two types of sentences in English. There are two types of sentences in English. Remember, in your academic class, in your writing class, your teacher may tell you there are 4 types of sentences. You may have simple sentence, compound, complex, and compound complex. But actually, the sentence is divided into 2. One is major sentence and another one is minor sentence. Okay? Remember, there are 2 major sentence and minor sentence. Major sentences are essential sentences which can be broken down into specific and predictable patterns of elements. Okay, so if you look at a major sentence, the one which is constructed, the one which is formed by following the rules, okay, the rules of English grammar. So you can just have a look at the example here. Yeah, the following sentences show some possibility. As I mentioned, there are many ways to write sentences. Example: the visitor brought a book for you. Mary saw Jane today. So if you look at this one, the 2 sentences here, we actually call them clause, right? Here, clause. We need a pattern to describe term to describe patterns of elements of this type. So we call this one clause. A sentence that contains only one clause is said to be simple sentence. The sentence which contains 2 clauses with the help of coordinating conjunction is called compound sentence. A sentence that contains 2 clauses with the help of subordinating conjunction is said to be complex sentence. You get my point? Everyone?
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Yes, teacher.
So basically, when you look at the sentence here, okay, sentence is the largest construction, as I mentioned already, meaning there are many ways you can use to write sentences in English. Okay, so you have 2. Remember, 2 types of sentences. One is major sentence. Your major sentence, as I mentioned already, major sentence is the one which is constructed following systems of rule known by any English speaker. And in major sentence, you may categorize into other as well. So you may have simple sentence. Okay, as mentioned at the moment, we need to find a term to call, a term which is called clause. Okay, clause. So a sentence, as I mentioned, a sentence contains only one clause is called simple sentence. A sentence that contains 2 clauses with the help of coordinating conjunction we call compound sentence. Okay. A sentence containing 2 clauses with the help of subordinating conjunction we call complex sentence. Right? Yes. Number one,
Yes, teacher.
coordinating conjunction. A sentence containing two clauses with the help of subordinating conjunction. Okay? Subordinating conjunction is called complex. If you also form a sentence containing two or more clauses with the help of both, okay, both coordinating conjunction and subordinating conjunction, we call compound complex sentence. Both. Okay, both here, both coordinating conjunction and subordinating conjunction forming a compound complex sentence. You understand now, right? Number one.
Yeah, teacher.
Yeah, teacher.
Okay. How about the second one, the second types? The second one is called?
Minor sentences.
Okay. Minor. Minor sentence. So what is minor then? Minor sentence. Okay. Minor sentence is the sentence which is constructed not following rule of system or systems of rule. Chẳng bởi cái xua tha sentence យើងមានប្រមាណប្រភេទប្រាប់គេថា sentence ហ្នឹងគឺមានពីរប្រភេទ major និង minor sentence major sentence គឺជាប្រយោគទាំងឡាយណាដែលគេសរសេរដោយគោរពទៅតាមឬក៏អនុលោមទៅតាមក្បួនវេយ្យាករណ៍នៅក្នុងភាសាអង់គ្លេសចំណែកឯ minor sentence គឺជា sentence ទាំងឡាយណាដែលគេសរសេរឡើងដោយមិនគិតអំពីទម្រង់វេយ្យាករណ៍គិតអំពី rule ទេអាហ្នឹងគេហៅថា minor sentence ហើយ minor sentence គឺជាទូទៅគឺជាប្រយោគដែលគេនិយមប្រើជាលក្ខណៈសាញជាលក្ខណៈ label telling the natures of the products. For example, like when you walk on the way, things like you see the sign, okay, the sign like no entry. No entry. When you go
Yes,
to the
teacher,
restaurant, you may see the sign like no smoking. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, teacher.
When you see the products, for example, like made in Thailand, have you ever seen this? Made in Thailand. Okay. អញ្ចឹងអាហ្នឹងហើយគេហៅ minor sentence បងតើណាវាអត់មាន rule វេយ្យាករណ៍នៅក្នុងហ្នឹងទេហើយ minor sentence គេប្រើវាជាទូទៅវាជាសាញជា label ដែលគេដាក់នៅលើផលិតផលអីហ្នឹងអាហ្នឹងគេហៅថា minor sentence យល់ទេបងហ្នឹង
Yeah, teacher.
Yeah, teacher.
Okay here ណាគ្រូចង់បញ្ជាក់ម្ដងទៀតថាយើងដឹងហើយនិយមន័យ sentence គេថាមិនម៉េចប៉ុន្តែយើងត្រូវមានពាក្យ term ដែលប្រើសម្រាប់ពិពណ៌នាអា term ដែលយើងប្រើសម្រាប់ពិពណ៌នា sentence ហ្នឹងគេហៅថា clause អញ្ចឹង sentence ទាំងឡាយណាដែលមានតែមួយ clause គេហៅថា simple sentence sentence ទាំងឡាយណាដែលមានចាប់ពី2 clause ទៅហើយមានការប្រើប្រាស់ពពួក coordinating conjunction ហ្នឹងគឺបង្កើតបានទៅជា compound ហើយ sentence ទាំងឡាយណាដែលមាន2 clause ហើយមានការប្រើប្រាស់ពពួក subordinating conjunction អាហ្នឹងគេហៅថា complex ប៉ុន្តែបងមើលថា simple បងសរសេរបានមករបៀបយើងរៀននៅក្នុង academic writing យើងអាចសរសេរ simple sentence បាន4មិនអញ្ចឹងហ៎ចាំទេ
4 teacher
compound
teacher
compound sentence សរសេរបានប៉ុន្មានប្រភេទប៉ុន្មានរបៀបណ៎ផ្លេចទេឃើញទេ
ដូចជា2
3 របៀប teacher
3របៀបហ្នឹងហើយចុះ complex sentence សរសេរបានប៉ុន្មានរបៀបឃើញទេផ្លេចហ៎អញ្ចឹងយើងត្រូវចាំថាគេឲ្យនិយមន័យថា sentence is the largest construction ណាគឺត្រូវរបស់គេព្រោះមិនមែនមានតែមួយវិធីទេនៅក្នុងការសរសេរប្រយោគជាភាសាអង់គ្លេសចង់និយាយអញ្ចឹងណាគាត់សរសេរ simple sentence យើងសរសេរបាន 4-5 របៀបឯណោះគាត់សរសេរ compound ហ្នឹងយើងសរសេរបាន 3-4 របៀបឯណោះសរសេរ complex ហ្នឹងក៏ 3-4 របៀប 5-6 របៀបឯណោះណាហើយយើងចង់សរសេរវាជា simple ក៏បានចង់សរសេរ compound ក៏បាន complex ក៏បានចង់សរសេរវាជា compound complex ក៏បានអញ្ចឹងបានគេនិយាយថា sentence is the largest construction យល់ទេណា Okay.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, let's have a look at another one. Minor sentences are not constructed in a regular way. They use abnormal patterns which cannot be clearly analyzed into a sequence of clause elements, unlike major sentences. There are only a few types of minor sentences, but instances of each are frequently used in everyday conversation. They are common in certain types of written language such as notices, headlines, label, piece of paper, cloth or plastic, on or beside an object or product describing its nature, name, owner, destination, adverbs, subheadings, and other settings. Minor sentences do not follow all the rules of grammar. For example, in major sentence, the verb can change their person. But minor sentence, no. Here, like, how do you manage? You can change the person to how does he manage? But the expression, how do? You will not now change this one as how did you do? No.